one day Tebe is not playing for the past couple of months. The next day he comes into the team, he's the man of the match. And, now you're saying that the other guys have to work hard to get back into the team. So that one game for him was enough.
You see Brendan Peterson coaching
exactly.
and shouting at the coach.
Right, let's move on.
Andile, if I can just...
Very quickly.
The thing is, I think coaches need to always... when you are asked questions, did you see Pep's interview sometimes? He doesn't answer what they're asking. You don't always have to divulge and you don't always have to give away too much. Sometimes,
no, but Pep, the results are there.
No, if there's nothing to say nothing.
It's Podcast Friday on the Mighty Metro FM. Sports are amplified with Andile. Thank you so much to Touch and Loot. They do it again next week. Hey guys, great first week, huh? That was a really good first week. Loot, you really did your thing, huh? You really did your thing. The touchdown with Thibaut Touch and Loot Love. Next week, all over again, between Monday and Fridays, 3 to 6. It's the best drive anywhere on radio. It ushers in this, the ultimate when it comes to sports shows, the one that does it all. But on a Friday, even more so, because the podcast guys come in and we take a look at the week that was and we speak on it. We've got a list, guys, of players that are saying, hey, we went in. Josta came in last week. We've had Brighton and Mhlongo come in. We're going to have a lot more. But today, hey, it's the A-team. Biso snaps. He's back on. Biso?
Thank you so much for the opportunity once again, and good evening to the listeners.
Oh, I just needed to welcome him special because, he's been missing in action. Today's going to be a special one because a lot of people are asking questions after the passing of Lukhele as to why is Kaizer Chiefs playing this weekend. So we'll hear from Kaizer Jr., he says something about it. We'll speak about Lukhele. Mark, who is in the studio, not in Cape Town with us, has been a supporter of Lukhele. He's been speaking about him on this show for so long. He's been saying, there's something great here. So we'll definitely get into that as well. Sundowns playing a big game this evening. It kicks off at 8 o'clock. It's a big match because they weren't able to get a result away in Tanzania. We spoke to both Aubrey Modiba as well as the president of Young Africans on this show this week. So we'll touch a little bit on that as well. Banyana is in action right now. The match is 10 minutes in and you can't watch it. And it's not due to the SABC. We were ready to broadcast the game. In 2024 though, our Nigerian counterparts say to us, hey guys, we're unable to secure feed to South Africa. We get the feeds from Russia. We get feeds from China. But today, our Nigerian counterparts, and you can see it in a statement released by Dr. Jenny Dojan as well as Safa, it says, and I'll just catch it somewhere halfway here. It says, the South African Football Association wishes to communicate that the away first leg Olympic qualifier between Banyana and the Super Falcons of Nigeria in Abuja on Friday afternoon will not be broadcast live on the SABC. We were unable to secure the feed. We were not able to secure the feed from the host broadcaster in Nigeria on a reciprocal basis that would have been shared with our partner in South Africa, the SABC. Come on. Here's 6 penalties there. 6 penalties and 9 red cards. You'll see. Yeah, and no one's going to have seen it. We're just going to get told about what a massacre it was. But the guys are here, and we're going to get into stories this week. Aubrey Modiba came here and had some things to say. We'll speak to that. And then there was the president, Hersey, the president of Young Africans, who came on as well. And he had some things to say as well about his team. So we'll get on to that. And, of course, the big one, the death of Lukhele. Kaizer Chiefs have lost one of their players. And, what we've seen, something that is always emotionally, physically, mentally taxing to players. Yet they are playing Chippa United this weekend. Why is it that Kaizer Chiefs are playing this weekend? We'll get into that. As well as a big game this evening, rather. There's a gent in studio who feels that Rulani Mokoena might be playing his last game or might be on his way out if he's unable to turn things around from the 0-0 of the first leg against the Young Africans and at least get to the final of the Champions League. How big is the Champions League for Mamelodi Sundowns, and how big is the result going to be this evening? Welcome to this Podcast Friday. Biso, we've already said hi to. Mark?
Great to be here once again, and good evening to all the listeners.
Former Moroka Swallows player there, and of course currently a man that is looking after young talents, finding young talents across the country. Cape Town, was it great talent?
Anywhere you go in South Africa, you're going to find great talent. So it's bucket loads of talent.
So there's going to be things that are going to come out of this past weekend.
Well, I hope so. Obviously, time will tell. It's not as cut and dry. It's a very competitive space. So, we've earmarked some talent, and hopefully we'll be able to, bring them on board.
I'd love to see that full picture of one day sitting here and saying, hey, remember that weekend in Cape Town? That's where we found this person. But that's Mark Haskins there, a former Wits, Cosmos, Swallows, a player.
Andile, if I can, I don't know, this is probably against protocol, but yesterday's show, I just have to say, you brought on one of my all-time favorite.
John T. Rhodes!
Like, I just have to, when I was listening yesterday, I just said to myself, I have to mention
yesterday.
it. I'm listening on radio, and I was even a groupie because I absolutely love the man, and I love him even more so now after having listened to the interview yesterday.
Yeah.
What a legend.
If you missed it, get onto our podcast and listen to John T. Rhodes. Was a very special conversation. Nadim, welcome.
Yeah, Andile.
I see you've got your papers. You've got a Bible in front of you.
No, it's only two pages.
No,
it's not me. It's only 2 pages. It's only 2 pages.
Are you well?
Yeah, all good.
Gents, let's get straight into it and speak about the big things happening this weekend. Aubrey Modiba came in. And we're speaking all things Sundowns, right? But before we did that, we spoke about his performance at AFCON and what he was being told by players that he was playing against who play in some of the biggest leagues in the world. Have a listen to what Aubrey Modiba, Sundowns player, said.
I remember after the game, he came to me and he was like, where do you play? I was like, in South Africa. And I was like, no, my friend. There on the bench, we're discussing, no, this guy is playing overseas or something. Or even the guys on the pitch, a few of the players, because they thought probably maybe half of the team is playing overseas or playing in one of the leagues in Europe. He was asking me that question and I was like, and he said to me, no, my friend, into overseas. That's what he said.
And that's Lipzig player Haidara who said that to him, who said, why are you playing in South Africa? You should be playing with us. You should be playing in the top leagues of Europe, Biso.
That's very true, I mean, you're looking at a player here that is incredibly talented. His versatility, if we start there. Right now in world football, there is so much emphasis on players that have the ability to play that inverted fullback role. He is able to do that with relative ease. He can slot into that midfield slot. He plays well in that left back slot. He's a high quality player. But I don't think it was even a case of just him at that tournament. I think South African players gave a good account of themselves at that tournament. And, you look at how far they managed to go against players that are playing at those top leagues. So they gave a really good account of themselves, and he definitely took the opportunity.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure why Mark Haskins is laughing.
I think his cry is
Actually, I was thinking about it. I listened to that interview. Of course, I mean, he's a good player. We know him from ACES, Supersport, then promoted to Sundowns. He has been consistent in the PSL.
How's he promoted to Sundowns?
Like Supersport, like 8 or 9 of the players there from Supersport United. So I no longer think it's. That player, I mean, even Akon, the defender, next season is going to be at Sundowns. You just know, even Masego, you knew it's going to go to Sundowns. It's no longer a secret that Stanley Matthews is selling players to. I don't even think it's selling, just.
No, but he said already, Shandray and Akon, they're not going anywhere local, they're going overseas.
Even with Masego, he said the same thing. Where is he now?
Okay,
so,
no.
I mean, don't believe him when he says that.
Just saying reports.
No, don't believe some of these reports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the things that if you are reporting. Aubrey Modiba is a very good player, but we know him. The thing with it, the story, maybe the guys are laughing because earlier on I said the problem I had is because he's the one who's saying that. They're saying he's a good player and all those kind of things. We don't even have another source who's saying that.
No, we do.
If another player...
We were there. We do.
Yeah.
It was in the press after that. It was said.
Yeah, I don't doubt him. I know him, like, even at Supersport, he's a good guy. Even he make the great interview. I mean, it was a nice interview. But, of course...
Everything but football. Nadim, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But of course, we'll see him. We need to see him helping Sundowns to go through to the semi-finals tonight.
What does that do from a player perspective? To be there, to be hearing that, and you have to come back and play in South Africa for a great team, one of the biggest teams in world football because they're the biggest team in Africa. But what does that do for you personally?
I mean, when he looks back at it, obviously these are some of the top players on the continent, giving him the accolades, giving him these compliments. And it's, he'll look back at it and say, how far could I have gone? But the reality is, I've said it week after week, I've said it time and again, we failed our footballers in this country. When you look at Aubrey Modiba, I guarantee you that Haidara probably watching Modiba thought he's like 23 years old because he hasn't heard of him. He doesn't know Modiba. But Modiba's 29 this year. He's turning 29. And so he's announced himself on the global stage at 29. Haidara is, 3-4 years younger than him. So, Haidara, we know, we've seen him on grand stages. But we've failed our footballers, not because, they're lesser players, because we haven't done right in literally how we manage our footballers in this country. And that's why I've said it, Kuliso Modau, for me, I say it and people laugh at me, one of the best right backs, not in South Africa, not in Africa, but in the world. But also Kuliso is turning 28, 29, if I'm not mistaken. When did he come onto the scene? Why are our players not coming onto the scene earlier? They are world-class talent being recognized at 29 years old. Clearly, there's a problem there. And so that, for me, is the grander problem. And so, yes, I think Haidara will look at, and Biso's right, not just Aubrey. I'm sure especially that first half against Mali, they didn't know whether they were coming or going. I don't think they expected to be blown off the park like they were. And that's the problem I have. We haven't done justice to the talent that we have in this country.
Well, we'll leave that to you. Hit us up on 086-000-2160, WhatsApp on 060-552-7303. Let's move on now to the counterpart on the other side, the president of Young Africans, who says that when asked, and we're speaking to him about Nasreddine Nabi, because this is a coach that we've come to know in South Africa, brought to our attention. We know what he did when he was in Tanzania, but we wondered as well, why would he leave Tanzania then if he's so good? And if you say he's so good, why would you let him go? He cleared things up. Have a listen to what the president of Young Africans had to say about the coach that we thought we're going to see in South Africa, but seems he won't come.
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches.
When you heard the rumors about Chiefs, did you think maybe a way for him to go, for them to go?
Yes, we started, actually we brought him, cancelled his contract from El Merreikh in Sudan, okay, when he failed a very short time. And then we brought him to Tanzania and they said, coach, you need to be here. We want you to raise our team. We want you to take care of our team.
Says he's a great coach. He says, the reason they let him go is because they couldn't afford him anymore. What he wanted and what they could give, but they loved having him, and he still says till today, a great coach. Looking at Chiefs and where they are now, Nadim?
He's a top coach. If you look at how Nabi in Morocco is top of the log with 58 points from 26 matches to go, they might win it. Obviously, Raja Casablanca is just 4 points behind them. So you can tell that he's actually an excellent coach who was going to really improve Kaizer Chiefs. I am not sure what happened when Kaizer Chiefs, of course, they identified him rightfully so when he beat Marumo Gallants in the CAF Confederation Cup semi-finals. They knew that Nabi is a good coach. I don't know what made them think Ncube can be an ideal replacement of Zwane, and then Nabi is no longer suitable to coach Kaizer Chiefs. Whatever happens, is actually Chiefs missed out on an excellent coach. I mean, look if you look at Kaizer Chiefs, since the beginning of the year, they've only won one match, which was against Arrows. Of course, in one of that game, you feel Arrows was even lucky to lose to Kaizer Chiefs because Arrows played well against Chiefs. They've been struggling, Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, they play Stellenbosch or any team, you get shocked when Chiefs won. What happened? Did they win? It doesn't. Now it's April. Chiefs have won one match. Can you believe it? 4 months later, Chiefs have won one match. It's not like they've not been playing. They've already played more than 8 games, but they've only won one match. It shows that there's a serious problem there.
You make it sound like April Fools, eh?
Yeah, actually, it is what it is.
And the worst part now is the big competition is Tunisia have come out and labeled and tabled an offer for Nabi, for the national team.
Well, the reality is the same way, Yanga couldn't afford the coach. I think Kaizer Chiefs need to decide, again, I've said it before, they're going to have to break the bank. If you're going to want to compete at the higher level, you want to get the team to a higher level, you're going to have to break the bank. If you, like for me, Jurgen Klopp coming into Liverpool, that was the best signing they made in the last 20, 30 years. Because Jurgen Klopp completely changed the club. They weren't able to, basically what Kaizer Chiefs is going through now, the drought they're going through, that was Liverpool, basically. And Jurgen Klopp coming in changed everything. Liverpool are now, for the past, I don't know how many years now, they've been competitive. That's what Chiefs are going to need to do. They're going to need to bring in someone And if they have to break the bank, I heard one of their supporters saying that Kaizer Chiefs make so much money off the jersey sales alone. When they sold
They did the calculation.
they
yeah,
did the
so that,
calculation, like 81 million, whatever the case may be.
Well, I'm not sure that's
So-
quite it, the number, but
I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, for me, how does a club like Kaizer Chiefs, do they not have the money? Do they not have the capability of spending that kind of money on a coach? It would be sad to think if they can't, because this is the biggest, I mean, let's not mince our words. It's the biggest brand in South African football, easily.
No.
And so they
there's
clearly,
no argument there.
Yeah,
they clearly
definitely.
should have the financial backing to be able to bring a coach of this pedigree. And that's what it's going to take to
And
really,
but
change
you've got to
their
think,
fortune.
Mark, as well, that that's what you would have been paying a Stuart Baxter. He
Look,
can't
man,
have come cheap. Stuart can't have come cheap.
I think
But
it's
remember,
more, it's more his personality.
remember, it was not about. It wasn't about money. It was they wanted Zwane to be an assistant coach or something like that. He wanted his remember,
own team.
He wanted to come with his own team.
Tim spoke to him. I mean, and Andile. So it was not like Chiefs cannot afford to pay him. It was he wanted to come with his Chiefs didn't want that. So that's
But
the
isn't
only-
it that the team was expensive?
Yeah, 'cause if
he
you're
came
bringing
on
your
his
own
own
team.
if he came with his own team, that is an added. I mean, the
I
cost
see
there
what you mean.
is a lot.
Yeah.
Biso?
I mean, if you're trying to compete with the Mamelodi Sundowns, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to be able to put up the big bucks for you to get to that level that they're at. You look at what Mamelodi Sundowns is doing. You look at what the top teams in Africa are doing right now. When you spoke to the president, he said when you asked about were you able to pay one of your players the same as what a Mamelodi Sundowns or an Alakli would
Aziz
pay,
Ki, yeah.
and he was like, we're nowhere near those guys. One of the reasons why they are doing so well is because they're not afraid to invest that money because they want those returns in terms of trophies. You look at what he has won over the last few years, Nasreddine Nabi. You look at what he's doing in Morocco at the current moment. You have to be able to put up that money if you want to compete with the Sundowns. Otherwise, what you're saying to South African football, to your fans, is that we are comfortable being second, third, fourth best in the country.
Well, speaking of Kaizer Chiefs, it was sad news that we all had to deal with most of yesterday, and for those that found out a little bit earlier the night before as well. But let's hear now from SAPS spokesperson Mavela Masondo on the death of 24-year-old Lukhele.
It is reported that the victim, who was driving a red VW Golf 8 GTI, drove into the petrol station in 14th Avenue, corner Hendrik Potgieter. While waiting to be served by the petrol attendant, he was confronted by two armed males who came driving a white BMW 1 Series. The suspects pointed the victim with a firearm and took him out of his vehicle, then shot him once on the upper body. One suspect drove off with the victim's car, followed by his accomplice. The victim was taken to the nearest medical care center, where he was certified dead on arrival.
I mean, that is going to be the saddest statement to read when you're speaking about a 24-year-old. So you ask yourself, why is it that Kaizer Chiefs are still carrying on and playing their games this weekend? I mean, we saw with TS Galaxy just 2 weeks ago. TS Galaxy, who witnessed an accident and the passing of someone's life at an accident that was involved with the bus that they were in, and even that game was cancelled. So why would the boys carry on? Well, this is what Kaizer Jr. firstly had to say about the passing of Lukhele.
They have a responsibility to Luke's family, to Luke himself, and they took it upon themselves to say that we are ready to fight, and we are lifting our heads and we're marching forward. So they're committed, and they're ready to face Super United this weekend.
So there, I think, he explains it in not so many words there. I'm not sure if you quite got it. Do you have another clip for Kaizer Jr. there? Yes, play that.
It's very, very, very sad there. I think it's hard to describe the mood. It will be more about, I think, shock, disbelief, a lot of anger at the same time. It's just a very, 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 very sad day for us, and for I think for the football fraternity at large. It was a very somber day today at the village. I don't think we've actually experienced a day like this. We've had many challenges over the years, and I think in terms of a squad player losing his life like this has never happened at the club, and it's really hit us very hard.
It's hit all of us hard, and condolences to Lukhele once again, his family, friends, extended family, fans of Kaizer Chiefs and fans of football, and just South Africans in general, because that's what football is. It's something that engulfs us all. Mark, you spoke so well of him continuously about the talent that he had and what he could have done with it.
Yeah, certainly. I think his talent was there for all to see. I think 2 years or so ago, he won Young Player of the Season in the league. And he showed what he is capable of. And when he was playing regularly at SuperSport United, unfortunately, he was plagued by his off-the-field troubles. But he was a fantastic, he was a jovial character. And so, he's very respectful whenever you meet him. The way he speaks to you, speaks to adults. And it goes back to, also where he comes from in terms of where he played his football as a junior. I think along with School of Excellence, you have to give credit to the likes of Ubuntu. I think Ubuntu Football Club, where he started, where he was signed from, they played a massive role in him getting into the professional ranks. But yeah, he was just a great talent, went to the Olympics, and it was a shock to everyone. I think, just getting that message to say he is no more, it's heartbreaking. And 24 years old, when he still had his whole future ahead of him, and I think he still had great things to do in this game. It's a really sad day in South African football.
I honestly think the PSL should introduce a rule that if a team loses one of their playing staff, the next following match must automatically, especially if it's within a week or before the burial of that person, must be postponed. I'm struggling to understand how can a player, how are they going to play against Chippa United? I mean, they lost a player who they were playing with, training with, just a few days ago. Now the guy was shot dead, by criminals, was not even sick. So you feel that it's actually a bit strange that the Chiefs are going to meet Morgan Mamela's Chippa United. Immediately, before the guy is even buried, immediately, within 3 days, now they are playing Chippa United. I think there should be a rule, honestly. I'm failing to understand this. Because one will say, maybe the family or whoever will say, maybe Chiefs are insensitive.
But it's one of those where you say the spirit of the person and who he was would have wanted us to go on, and we want to do it for him. What about that sort of thinking?
Like, we're Africans. Chiefs is an African team. We respect someone's death. It's not normal when another person is dead, especially key member. Then you say, okay, let's go and play. I don't know. But as you rightfully say, with TX Galaxy, they saw a lady losing her life. They felt that, okay, they are not going to be. None of the players were hurt. None of the players were injured. But that seeing
psychologically,
seeing someone passing away, they just felt, no, we can't. We request, they're going to write to the league, Team Sugas, that's what they said, to postpone the match, to request the league to postpone the match. Rightfully so, because they felt that on their part, it was going to look insensitive to the family of the lady who lost her life. It's not like the boys, they say, we can't play because of that. He felt, even if he's got fans, families, and all those kind of things, look, it's strange that they are playing Chippa United.
Yeah,
Piece of snaps.
It's very painful news, in football we speak of the ages of around 25, 26 to 28, 29 being your peak years in football. He hadn't even gotten to that part yet. We speak of the need for defenders in South African football, top quality defenders. This is someone that went to the Olympics. I remember the game against Japan, against Abotake Kubo and those guys. And, he played so well in that game. So it's sad to see a young player that is taken away before he even plays his best football. So condolences to his family, condolences to the Kaizer Chiefs family, SuperSport, and Ubuntu Cape Town.
You've never encountered a situation like that in your playing career, Wits, Cosmos, or Swallows, because I can imagine the team making that decision, perhaps, maybe even at consultation with the players, which I'm hoping is what happened. But from a player point of view, I've heard players saying it's difficult to hit the pitch when there's a fight with the wife happening at home. I can only imagine with something like this.
Yeah, again, like Nadim says, it is a strange occurrence, and I agree with him. It is strange that they are playing the game. I remember at Swallows, we lost Conrad Hendricks, the goalkeeper.
Oh, yes, I know
he passed away in a car accident. Obviously, we were given time to go and pay respects to the family. I can't entirely remember how long it was, but or if a game was even postponed. But it does affect you, and it affects some more than others. You'll find that some were very close. I know of players around the world who've been affected by this. Who've played with him, who came up with him in different academies or whatever the case may be, spent some quality time with him and were really close to him, who were affected by it, and were really down. And so it is a tough one. And again, you know, you don't want to be judgmental or whatever the case may be, but you know, the thinking maybe to honor his memory, and that can be understood. Again, was, you know, the family consulted? Was there a process that has gone through here to really make this and come to this decision? And you know, maybe he was the kind of character who would have wanted the team to carry on. But ultimately,
that's one of those things we all say in here. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I would have won. Mark would have wanted us to.
Personally, I'm that guy.
You want the game to go on.
The game must go on. But that's me.
There mustn't be a mourning period.
Not to that extent. I mean, if you are gonna, you know, celebrate me on the field, let this be.
So there you go.
Let this be a way of going out and, you know, galvanizing the troops and let them go and do the business. That's me as a former player. If it was me, that's how I would feel about it.
Always liken this situation to the situation of Sundowns and Madisha, but it was different. Remember with Madisha, it was so bad, that accident, that, you know, they had to first figure out if it was even him. Was he ever in the car? So everything had to carry on as per normal until the family had to accept that, no, we've got enough now to say that, yes, that was one of our own. So it was different. And that's why those games, when postponed, was at the behest of the family. It wasn't the PSL or anything like that, which is obviously something now with Kaizer Chiefs, who've said we're going to play the game. I just wonder, for Chiefs fans, whatever the outcome is, do you hold anybody accountable for this particular game?
Because they're playing a very solid team, Chippa United, that just won their game. You can see Morgan Mamela is doing well. I mean, with
Morgan's not the coach.
No, he's the senior. He's the technical director. He's always on the bench. He's coaching. He's the senior head coach. Morgan is coaching there. Whatever he says is coaching. I saw him against Stellenbosch. I've been watching Chippa United matches.
He's part of the technical team.
Exactly.
Yes.
So they are playing that kind of a team. Chiefs failed. Remember, full fit Kaizer Chiefs' first game of the season was against Chippa United. If they failed to beat Chippa United, now they are playing. So if Chiefs lose that game, what are we going to say now is because Luke just passed away. Maybe the players were still mourning and all those kind of things. So that's why I'm saying it's strange, because they're playing a very hostile team at home that is actually improving.
So you didn't give Chiefs much of a chance coming into that game. What if they actually now go on to beat them? Then it was a good
I don't
decision.
give Chiefs a chance in any game they play.
It's 6:36 on the Mighty Metro FM. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Sundowns have a big game this evening. Is Loftus going to be packed? Well, for the Sundawanas and the Kabu Yellow Nation, they'll all hope so. But let's get into that game. 6:38 on the Mighty Metro FM. Here's a very quick one, guys, before we go to this Sundowns match. Kaizer Chiefs, during the week after their match, their coach, Kevin Johnson, coming out and saying, I didn't quite understand this. I'm hoping you are. Keep it brief, Nadim. Have a listen.
I thought the performance we put on tonight was not even half the performance we put on Saturday. And yeah, what can I say? We have to go back, try again, put different players in the pitch, and let's see what happens.
I didn't get that. I didn't understand it, Mark. Perhaps you can coach-explain it to me.
The thing is, I think the coach is at a loss, especially after that performance. And you can understand what he says in terms of it wasn't half of the performance that they had against on the weekend, which was against Cape Town City. They did actually play really well. It was a game that ebbed and flowed. It went both ways. It was two teams that had a full go at one another. Against Cape Town City, I think Kaizer Chiefs competed beautifully. But it was almost like an anomaly now, it seems, because they raised their level and they really fought. But against Stellies, I guess they just came undone, and the coach entirely wasn't happy with the performance.
Yeah, but you didn't answer the question. He said the players, he need to play different teams. So that's the question.
So he must change the personnel. Obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
Which team is he going to play? That's the team he's got.
So the thing is, he pretty much played the same lineup from the Cape Town City game. But the problem I have with that is now, every time you lose, you're going to change the lineup. When do you build rhythm, momentum, consistency? But the reality is they played well against Cape Town City. There were quite a few. I mean, Shaba was there, Duba was there. So those are relative youngsters, especially in the attack. And, you know, they didn't concede against City. They only conceded the one against Stellies. But when do you build momentum and consistency?
And rapport. What Dr. Kumalo says. What is it? Social factor.
You can't chop and change every time you lose.
I just feel for Kevin. I like him. He's one of the guys that I thought maybe he would do well. I'm the one, actually. I was wrong about him. I thought he's going to improve Kaizer Chiefs.
You did say so.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that he was an experienced coach who's going to improve, because it looks like he's running out of excuses. His first excuse started by saying teams, when they are playing Kaizer Chiefs, they go to 5 Sangomas. Now he needs to change the team and play another team. He's the one who selected the team, we think. So who is responsible for selecting? Why is he not selecting that team that he feels is going to win? He's struggling at Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, it's April already. 1 win. I don't even know. I don't even think he knows what's the solution.
Biso?
I just think there's too many inconsistencies. Inconsistencies with the lineup, inconsistencies with the excuses that are given, inconsistency with the players themselves even. You get someone playing the derby, scoring 2 goals. The next game, you don't really see that much of them. In midfield also, one day's Tebe is not playing for the past couple of months. The next day he comes into the team, he's the man of the match. And, now you're saying that the other guys have to work hard to get back into the team. So that one game for him was enough.
You see Brendan Peterson coaching
exactly.
and shouting at the coach.
Right, let's move on.
Andile, if I get
Very quickly.
The thing is, I think coaches need to always when you are asked questions. Did you see Pep's interview sometimes? He doesn't answer what they're asking. You don't always have to divulge, and you don't always have to give away too much. Sometimes,
no, but Pep, the results are there.
No, if there's
Pep.
nothing to say nothing.
Let's go to Opta Jabu. He's all the way in Cape Town to give us some stats here. We always love having him. Got a couple of people in the football fraternity, a couple of teams that say, hey, Andile, I don't listen to you guys babbling on. I just wait till the end to listen to Opta Jabu. So Opta, somebody out there is waiting just for you. Lindelo, are you well?
I'm good, thanks, Andile. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, big game this evening. Kicks off in just about an hour, 15 minutes from now. Tanzania versus South Africa. It's Mamelodi Sundowns versus Young Africans. What can you tell me about this matchup?
Yes, Andile. So you don't usually get Tanzania versus Bafana, but we get Tanzanian sides versus South African sides in CAF competitions.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the 10th time that a PSL team is hosting opposition from Tanzania, and only 2 wins for Tanzania in the previous 9 games. That's Azam in 2016 winning against Wits, and Yanga themselves in 2023 when they beat Marumo Gallants as well.
So in the 10 times that South Africans have faced Tanzanians, we've won 8 of those games.
So Van 6, actually, there's been a couple of draws in there as well.
Okay. And then what about Sundowns? I mean, when they're at home, how do they do?
So that's that. Sundowns at home, unbeatable, near unbeatable at home in CAF competition. We're talking 42 games now, 36 wins, 10 draws, and 1 defeat.
What?
Since 2017.
That is an incredible stat. Please repeat that. 42 games that they've played at home in CAF competition. How have they done?
So 42 games, that is 36 wins, 10 draws, and 1 defeat.
Come on.
But there's something Kombela once said that...
No. Don't tell me about stats, because you live on stats. So please put him off the mic. That is an incredible stat. I don't care how you look at it. To have played 42 games at home and only ever lost 1 in CAF competition.
In CAF competition, it's 42 games, 1 defeat. Sorry, 31 wins and 10 draws.
10 draws.
Yeah.
That's a good stat.
When you hear a stat like that, it should amount to more than 1 star on the jersey.
That's my problem. That Sundowns, since 2017, since that record started, Sundowns have not even reached the Champions League final even once. So I honestly feel it matters look good, but it's not that good, because there are a couple of times where you see White Hat losing at home. Even Kaizer Chiefs beat White Hat in Morocco, Al Ahly. But for the past 7 years, there are only 2 teams that have been winning the Champions League. It's between Al Ahly and White Hat. So it's an incredible stat. Even last time, Sundowns were out with a draw. I mean, even a draw, it's like a lose. If you're out, if it can kick you out.
1-1.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, 2-2. Then
2-2. Yeah. Any scoring draw.
Exactly. Even tonight, if Yanga, scored draw, then Sundowns are out. It doesn't matter if this record continues or not.
We're speaking a little bit earlier about Kaizer Chiefs. They're playing a game against Chippa United under very, morbid conditions, very sad conditions. What can you tell us about Chippa at home?
Indeed, Andile, very sad conditions. But Chiefs now, when they play they're going away to Chippa, and Chippa have actually been very solid at home. So we're talking since September, 8 teams have traveled to Chippa for an away game, and only one has come back home with 3 points. And that means 4 wins for Chippa, 3 draws in those games, and only Polokwane City that won since September in Port Elizabeth or Gqeberha.
Wowie. Very last one in the PSL. It's going to be, heated this weekend. There's Arrows who seem to be picking up, or so it looks, under Steve Kompela. What can you tell us about Arrows?
Indeed, great start under Steve Kompela the first 3 games. But then, in the last 20 years, when Arrows travel to Orlando Pirates, things haven't been too well. That's 20 trips, 1 win in those 20 trips in the last 20 years, 7 draws, and a mammoth 12 defeats in that time.
There's something that's going on in Durban in the KZN teams as far as conceding goals and losing. When you take a look at the moment, the fact that, Amazulu and Richards Bay are sitting at the lowest point of conceding this year. Indeed.
At the beginning of the season, we had an issue with Cape Town teams, if you remember. Right now, we're now focusing on KZN teams. Amazulu have conceded 10 goals in the league this year, so we're counting only 2024. And that's the second worst record of all sides, the worst being Richards Bay, who've conceded 11 goals in 2024, and that's only coming.
Guys, in 2024, it's the beginning of April.
I hope Propilan is not listening. He's gonna faint.
He's definitely listening. He's quiet today. Opta Jabu, how does everybody follow you and your Laduma Analytics team?
On all social media platforms, Andile, including a newsletter now and a WhatsApp channel as well. People can find us.
Yeah, you must email us the newsletter.
I'm definitely getting on that. Thank you so much. It's Linda Lamoya representing Opta Moyo. Nadim giving me a phone here, and there's something very funny. You're not going to believe this. So the score at the moment in Nigeria is Nigeria 1, Banyana 0. Penalty. Penalty.
That's why there's no feet.
Guys, very quickly, which games are you picking for the weekend? Mark, let me start with you.
Well, can we go out of our shores?
You can go wherever you want.
A lot happening around the world, and based on this week's events, EPL will be showing Aston Villa, but the game of the weekend has to be United Liverpool. That's going to be, a humdinger. The way both teams performed midweek, it's going to be great to see what they do on the weekend.
What do you think they'll do? Come on, give us a little bit more.
United will win, right?
United win.
Definitely.
Really?
Just upset the apple cart.
And then Arsenal will
even
top
though I
of
want
the
Liverpool to win the league.
After the Chelsea game, you say
United rise against. They only play certain games. There's only a few games this season.
They should have played
United
that Chelsea game. Nearly gave me a heart attack. Had me mad at my kids for no reason. Biso?
I think there's an interesting game. A week ago, you had Ulinda Mtambo here. He's been in excellent form over the last few games, and tomorrow they are playing away to Stellis. Stellis is high-flying at the moment.
So that's quite a clash, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it will be an interesting match to watch, that high-flying Stellis team and the form that Isekukune is in at the moment.
Nadim, what game have you picked?
I like what Steve Kompela is doing at Golden Arrows. This team has been struggling. There was 11 consecutive defeats, then unbeaten. He's going to Orlando Stadium to lose his first game for the first time. So I honestly think he's doing well, but against Orlando Pirates, he might come short because Pirates have been struggling in the last 2 matches.
Did you hear the stats, though?
For Arrows.
I just gave you the Arrow stats.
No, I know. Like in the last 3 matches, he collected 7 points. I actually think Steve Kompela has saved the team from relegation. Of course, he has already done his job, which is to save the team from relegation. Now Pirates are fighting to be number 2, of which is now becoming difficult because they've
only won once, though.
The alarming stat there, 20 years. Arrows have only won once away to Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, that's why I say Pirates will beat
20 years. You've won once against Orlando Pirates away. That's a crazy stat, but let's see if Steve Kompela could be the second one to do so as well. Guys, that's it for our show. It's over to you now. We've given you all that you need to hear. 086-000-2160. That's where you can call us. 060-552-7303 is your WhatsApp line. Hold on, Malcolm, before you take us to an ad break. How big is this game for Rulani tonight?
It's very important for him because Sundowns is very clear. They want to win the Champions League. They've invested heavily. Spending players, Allende, 50 million, and so many quality players. If Rulani doesn't,
Mendieta,
Costa, he might actually not be. He might be frustrated.
So you think this could make or break Rulani as a coach at Sundowns?
I will be surprised if I see him next season if he loses this match. I'll be surprised if I see Rulane next season. Just
So
like
this is the coach who's won the AFL. This is
just
the
like
coach who's going to
just
win
like
the league.
Mangoba Mngiti won a treble for the first time in Sundowns history. He lost to Pirates 3-0 in Polokwane. That was it. Now I'm not even sure if it's assistant coach or second assistant coach or I'm not even sure.
Let's take a break. When we come back, taking your calls and your WhatsApps. All right, let's play some of your voice notes, and then I see your calls. We'll be taking them in a few.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 00 2160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Good evening, Andile and all Metro FM listeners around the globe. Young Africans, I say goodbye in advance because Mamelodi Sundowns are going to the semi-finals. Given the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns players are the core of our national team, I think young Africans must be shaking in their boots. It's Moses Mokoena Hamokokwaila.
Good evening, Andile and the team, the guys there. How are you? Sela from Tembisa. I think Chiefs was just trying their best to actually have someone they can be able to groom as a coach, maybe in the future, and have their own Biso Musimane or the likes of Rulane Mukwena in their technical staff. And then eventually they will have that person. The other thing about these coaches is that they don't even think twice. After their contract has expired, they leave the team. Imagine with Baxter, what he did after actually winning the trophies and the league. He just up and left. So that's one thing that I can say. Thank you, Sela from Tembisa.
Yeah, man. And the team, yeah, man. This is really sad, man. We have seen games postponed for lesser reasons, man, or wait, if that's the case. But I'm fair to. I just hope the boys just go out and just do it for him, man. It's sad. It's sad. It's a sad situation for Kaizer Chiefs to be in the moment. Again, condolences to the family, man. Yeah, sure. Tato.
Hi. Evening, guys. Metro FM, Andile and your crew. Guys, I can hear Andile. I can hear your guest. They try by all means to take a credit away from Mamelodi Sundowns. Mark Haskins, yes, you can say that. At this age, that's when people thinking that he must go overseas. It's because he was not at Sundowns. All those players, the Mutaus, all the players you just mentioned, we just see them now how good they are just because they're at Sundowns. So that means there's proper coaching in Sundowns. We mustn't run away from that, guys. Senzo from Etsakane, thank you.
Senzo, you are, two things can be right at the same time. You're right. You're not wrong. But Mark is right as well, because Mark didn't say specifically Sundowns. He said South African players. Why is it that we see how good or great they are once they are... but why am I speaking for him? He's right here.
No, also, was Aubrey only good when he got to Sundowns? I don't think that's the case. He showed his quality at SuperSport already, so it has nothing to do with Sundowns at all. We appreciate what Sundowns have done for the country and how well they're doing on the continent and representing the country. And we know that the lion's share of Bafana players come from them. And yes, they're doing phenomenal work. That's goes without saying. But the reality is quality is there in bucket loads. Aubrey Modiba should have been on the international scene already at the age of 22, 23 years old. That's the point I make. Why aren't we allowing our players to come through? Then when they compete against the likes of Aidara, let them compete for 5-6 years against them. So let Aidara see him at a young age, and then, let's get them playing in the best leagues in the world. That's the point I make. We failed in that regard. And for us to reach our peak only at 29, where players are, a lot of teams making their debuts at like close to 30. It doesn't make sense.
Let's give you the Sundowns team for this evening. It's Teboho Mokoena. You've got Marcelo Allende. Loch starts. Modiba starts. Tembazwane captains the team. Grant Kekana starts. You've got Ribeiro Costa, who starts. You've got Kuriso Mudau, he starts. Ronwen is in goals. And then Divine Lunga starts. And Peter Shalulile up front. That's the 11. Let's take your calls. From one Divine Lunga to another Lunga. And Roy Report wants to speak about Arsenal. Yeah, Lunga, what do you want to say? Are you calling to apologize?
No. Mina ngulunga wasemzansi lo ubuyaphi lo muntu.
Apologize. Apologize.
I'm not gonna apologize, Andile. First and foremost, I'd like to greet the gents there, and then the second one, I'd like to send my condolences to Luke's family and the Kaizer Chiefs supporters. I know it's too soon, but abanye abantu siyobezwa bathi basenda my condolences, but it's a topic for another day. So I want to talk about Man United. Man United is gonna win on Sunday
against Liverpool.
Yes, they're gonna win smooth. Go back in Nandi. That's what I told you on Monday. From there, Arsenal to the top. Why? So, and then the other thing I just want to put in, just want to steal your few seconds. Fridays, can you please give it to Abu Nadim and Co. And then Mondays, give us. Fridays, it's a time buffet. Monday, ungakhohlwa andilufake ezinye indaba usinike nathi
mazolo ukhona mos Monday uthini manje
mletheni Friday
no ukahle Monday
no bye. See, hey guys, on Fridays, guys, now you want me to do 2 Fridays Monday. Hey, there's a lot of Sundowns players here. Kuriso, hey, talk to me, man.
Evening, man.
You want to speak about Kevin Johnson?
I want to speak about Keith and those VAR guys from the Premier League.
Go for it.
Who wanted to save Pochettino so much. I mean, those 2 soft penalties. Wow.
That penalty was very soft. That second one, there was nothing there.
No, said like real Man United supporters.
No, there was nothing
said
there.
Like real Man United supporters.
Oh, but it was a penalty, right?
No, never.
No. Okay, fine. Maybe
was it soft or unsoft?
The second one was too soft, eh?
Yeah, but the penalty is a penalty. There's nothing like a soft penalty.
Okay, fine. For the first time, I agree with Nadim. I mean, I was one of the guys that wanted Johnson at Chiefs, but I mean, he has failed this month, and then if he doesn't take it, it will be the likes of Gordon Egerson, forgotten one.
Who? Gordon Egerson.
I'm saying if he doesn't take it right, he's gonna be the forgotten man, just like your.
Oh, he's gonna be like. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was already a forgotten man.
Kuriso, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's go to Peter. Please switch off Nadim's mic. Let's go to Peter out in Woodbank. Wants to speak Pirates. You've got half a minute there, Peter. Go for it.
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. I would like to just make a comment about the topic that you guys were talking about. I think during the FIFA break, regarding strikers in South Africa. When Hugo Bros actually said we don't have strikers. I've been watching Mabasa for quite some time now. Mabasa is a very good striker. I don't know why they sidelining him in the Bafana squad, but I think they should give him a chance and he can do better.
Of course they should.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Always appreciate it. On Fridays, it's always a jolt. I see the guys here, but they're not there. I don't know what's going on. They're here, but they're not here.
Oh, they're coming here.
But I'm not sure what's going on. But the guys are here. I can see the guys are here. So we'll be shooting straight to them in a bit. Biso Snaps, always a pleasure. Nadim, as well as Mark. Fridays on radio. Trust me when I say this. There's nothing like what we do here.